We tend to think of relationships as duplicate, but relationships are the essence of how you see yourself and the level of self-trust and self-care you have within. What people are you attracting in your life? What situations are you attracting in your life? That's what's shaping your inverse. When we're always focusing on the external events, on everything that's happening around us, every circumstance, and we don't look inside for the situations in our life that led us to be where we are, then we forget the relationship we have with ourselves. We forget to prioritize that relationship. Some people don't even know they have to develop that relationship within them in order to flourish in a relationship, career, in life. You can have a relationship with a plant. You can have a relationship with an animal. You can have a love for a unique, weird object of some historical event because you've seen that. You've created a relationship with that based on the emotions, feelings, and perceptions you put within that. So that's how you're perceiving what you see externally, and you're attaching all of these memories to that. That could be a person, that could be an event, whatever that might be, you're articulating what you see inside and what you resonate with. Everything has to go back to us. So how can we develop that awareness within to notice when we're falling outside of who we actually want to be, to our own journey? And you have to become a psychoanalyst of yourself, of your unconscious patterns, that you become so known of your unknown that they become your uniqueness. They become a part of yourself. It's your ego with your vulnerability, so you create your home. Because your vulnerability is not cliche that people say. It makes you rise up. The world outside of you will always be a reflection of the world inside of you. Sounds a little cliche, but if you think about it, think of everything you've been through, from a relationship to a life event. You look back at it and it shaped this perfect map of who you are today. Some people appreciate that and some people don't. And the essence of self-care, the essence of shadow work, of knowing yourself. What are your weaknesses and your strengths? Why is things have truths? Why is everything subjective to you? Do you question yourself? Do you talk to yourself? There's so many different tools and ways to understand yourself. Using psychology, using philosophy, using astrology. So I'm going to talk about the ways I've understood parts of my psyche and my unconscious and how to blend these two together. Because everything we perceive is subjective to our environment. But how we internalize that in our universe, in our inverse, it's unique to us. And that's what shapes our reality. That's why we always have to look within. We always have to question ourselves. As Carl Gustav Jung said, the privilege of a lifetime is to know thyself, to truly know yourself. So what does that mean? Who are you? You know you are your name, your age, your birthday, the people you hang with, the environment you are, your society, in a deeper level. When you take everything that happened around you off of your psyche, what are you left with? You're left with the unconscious, with the things you don't know about. And that's psychology in an essence. That's knowing yourself. That's getting to the root cause of yourself, of your shadow, those aspects of yourself that made you who you are. It's the finis that is developed when you blend your unconscious with your conscious. As Sigmund Freud and Carl Jung talked about a lot, the psyche. In psychology, there's many ways the psyche is talked about. Freud had a more scientific approach to the psyche. He used to see it as the persona and the unconscious. Jung used to see a deeper realm, which was the subconscious. Everything that was below the collective unconscious. It's the hidden qualities that are within us based on very repressed things, our dreams, our collective experiences, things that are not fully scientifically proven or explained. Carl Jung tended to be more mystical. He had a more mystical approach when dealing with his psychoanalysis practices with his patients. He used to approach it with a more creative kind of like investigating type, getting to know the person as a whole. Who are they? Why? Question their dreams. What are their creative tools? What makes them tick? He used to go beyond what is the medical aspect of psychology. He would look beyond what is normal. He was more mystic. When we look at the structure of the psyche, which I briefly talked about in other videos when talking about the shadow, because in essence, the psyche is very complex. It's an iceberg of ourselves. Right here we can see the basic structure of the psyche in psychology. The persona, the collective unconscious, and the shadow self. The subconscious. So the subconscious is everything we're aware of, but we're not. We don't want to acknowledge it. It's the things that are repressed within us, but we see them unconsciously coming out. The collective unconscious is everything unconscious that its collective experiences has shaped our environment, that signal the DNA. So everything structuring how we perceive things, how we perceive our persona, how we interpret the information based on how we grew up, the people we were around, and everything that shaped our ego. So everything that shaped our ego is based on these two things, these two lower subconscious things. And this, when we look at the brain structure, when we look at the psyche, which is everything that's how we process information, how we process our emotions, our feelings, everything that makes us us, everything that psychologically develops our psyche, the essence within us. So when we look at the brain like this, and the psyche, basically our persona is everything that the brain is sensing, like everything that we can see, everything we're aware of, every environmental factor that shaped who we are, the school we went to, everything that shaped us in an unconscious way. From ages 0 to 7, we were in a theta state, we're in hypnosis. So when we were growing up, our parents were the ones that shaped our environment, and our environment is how we picked up and how we developed our persona. All of the things we picked up unconsciously, that's the collective unconscious in our psyche. And that could be things that we repress from our shadow, from ourself, from our subconscious characteristics. Things that we might be repressing are stored here because of the collective norms, because of societal structures, because of what's perceived as right or wrong in standards in the world. So that's how we develop archetypes in society, due to the collective unconscious. That's how there's heroes, there's a mother archetype. Carl Jung used to coin this archetypal structures. He used astrology to do this and to kind of like shape how the mother is correlated with the Cancer archetype, and then the hero, the magician, is correlated with the Sag. So there's a lot of blending of energies that Carl Jung used to tap into. He was more free and less rational with psychology. He would approach it with the essence of it, and with dream interpretation, with all of these things that were more in the mystic, imaginative side. He would tap into that realm more. He spent a lot of time with himself, developing his psyche and understanding and taking from that and using his imagination to treat his patients. And he was very wise. He would come up with these long scriptures of how to work with the subconscious, and that's how we develop the shadow self and how important it is to integrate it before it comes out in the worst ways possible. In order for you to be who you want to be in terms of developing the right relationship with yourself and with others and finding that inner value about yourself, then it all comes down to that concept again, to being able to manage these two worlds and integrate it. So how can you integrate your unconscious traits with your persona? And the only way we can do that, we can truly do that, is developing that sense of self-awareness, of taking care of ourselves, implementing those stances of self-care in an everyday. And that could be your form of imagination in your day, of creativity, whatever you'd like to put your time into. That's what you're gonna start to prioritize, because that's how you're gonna start to meet your shadow in unconscious ways. You cannot rationally try to change your subconscious. You have to play with it, because the subconscious is emotional. It holds all of these things. You don't really want to take it off. It's like a creature. We have to treat it like a creature. Imagine the brain, it's the limbic system where the emotions are stored. There might be so many things there that are a ticking bomb that we have to find the instances of cues telling us the little things we have to change, the little things that we have to start picking up, journaling about, and that's how we can construct what are we actually repressing. What are those patterns that when we start to piece them together, we understand that we're all essential for us to develop and move towards whatever we want to move towards. So whatever happened in that event that made you or ticked you and made you push your own traits, or made you repress something about yourself that you push below the subconscious, that you push your shadow self, everything is below there.